been driving across the country the last few weeks. So I have a couple of carriage drivers taking care of my horses back home in New York City, where I'm a carriage driver if you're just tuning in for the first time. Got a lot to catch up on. I guess I'm going to try go in order, and I will break this up into a few separate videos. Not sure when I'm going to post them. Do have my laptop with me, but really feel like editing and going through all of that. We'll see, maybe if I have some time. I've got about 140 miles to Memphis right now. Feel like the coffee I got at the gas station is somehow decaf. I'm not feeling that yet. Today got a 8-hour and something minute drive plus some stops for gas. I think about 6 hours and 45 minutes to go. Be a whole different vlog series in itself if I went into all of that this whole trip. So we're not. Today, I guess we should probably just go in order. I didn't yet post the about an hour long video. I might have to break it up into a couple of separate videos, I'm not sure, on Ryder, got horse named Ryder, and that whole situation that's been all over the world news last couple of years, because I can finally talk about it now that that whole court case is over. So I don't think I left anything out. I think it was pretty concise. I don't know if there is a short version of that story that I can give you. What's the recap? I mean, it took me an hour to really go into all the detail to explain that so that it's not just a blurb of a headline, which is why everyone was like so upset about that, because when it's just a little blurb, I mean, it doesn't sound great, but when you go into all the detail, it's like, well, there's nothing wrong here. But yeah, the shortest version I can give is that this was just a bad sale. The horse was unknowingly purchased with cancer. I tripped on the way home. Driver tried to get him up as best as he could. He was put on a trailer. He was retired. A few months later, all the top equine vets were trying to diagnose what was wrong with him. That's when they discovered he had cancer. It was difficult to detect. Horse had only been in the city a few months. This seller had said that he was much younger than he actually was. So when that came out, they were like, well, this isn't a horse we can have in the city. It started rapidly losing weight, I guess a day or two or whatever, however long before this incident happened, and before that wasn't doing so bad. And basically that's it. I guess that's the shortest version I can give you. But yeah, it took me an hour to go into all the detail about what really went down with that. But yeah, this carriage driver was accused of animal abuse, which is ridiculous to us, but luckily justice prevailed. He was found not guilty. The trial went on for about a week, maybe a little more. I'm not sure how many days exactly it was discussed. My concern was that, you know, the jury wouldn't do the right thing and they would just act on emotion and, you know, maybe hearsay and all of that. But they did. They did what they were supposed to do. They looked at evidence and facts, or lack thereof, and they concluded this was not a case of animal abuse, which is what pretty much anyone that knows anything about horses or our industry or what went on in that situation knows was true. But the media likes all their hype, and animal rights extremists will use absolutely any kind of little thing they can to further their agenda. So they just spin and spin and spin. But yeah, I don't want to get too much detail about what happened because, like I said, I did a whole hour on that already. That one's kind of funny because it's just a video of my cats with me talking. Because I was not really dressed to do a video that day, but I was in the mood to tell the story. Yeah, we were happy with that verdict because it's right. I mean, the jury essentially had to decide if there was enough evidence that without a reasonable doubt, this carriage driver had, intentionally done something wrong to his horse, had caused the horse to trip and fall. Was it his fault that this horse had tripped or fallen or collapsed or whatever it was? The reason the horse went down, was this his fault? Was this something he could prevent? And had he, deprived the horse of any nutrients or anything like that? So there was actually no evidence to support that he had done something like this, and there was some evidence to suggest that he had not. So between all of that, he was found not guilty. This was just politicized and ridiculous. It would have been really dangerous if he was found guilty, because that would mean that people who, just had a horse trip somewhere could get convicted of animal abuse. It was so crazy this even happened. I didn't even got that far, but there was a case some years ago, way before my time in the industry, where essentially a horse had colicked and laid down to roll around, I think when he was working with the carriage, and the driver was trying to get the horse up, because when a horse colics, typically you want to walk them around, and that's to save their life. It's not good for a horse to be down for an extended period of time for any reason, but especially during a colic. And the driver was trying to get the horse up, and a police officer actually pulled a gun on him and told him that he had to stop trying to get this horse to get up, because I think he was, tapping the lines or using a whip or something on the horse to try to encourage him to stand up. And he was like, you have to stop or I'm going to shoot you. So the driver stopped, and the horse ended up dying, because the driver was not permitted by police to save his horse and do what he had to do for his horse's health, to get his horse up when he colicked. And I just think that is a good example of people just, not understanding what they're seeing in a situation and reacting to it in a way that is actually harmful to that horse. And it happens, and it's happened before, and it'll probably happen again, because people are just not educated enough about horses. I've been driving all over the country last few weeks, and there are horses everywhere, and everyone has horses. And I mean, for the most part, the majority of the country, and there are not enough horses in New York City. There's not. It's crazy that they're everywhere, but there. And that's why you get these people that do not understand them, do not know what's best for them, have never seen a horse, do not know what a horse generally looks like and acts like and behaves like and what they do all day. They have no idea. And I think we need some horses in the city. That's what I've learned from this trip, amongst other things. It was just the jury did the right thing, and you would think everyone would be like, okay, he was found not guilty, so we can move on. But no, New York class and PETA and them started attacking and as if all of this didn't come out in court, as if it wasn't hours and hours and hours. You could have made your case then. All they had was someone who didn't know anything about horses complaining that they didn't like what they saw that day. If it was so obvious, like they're saying, that the horse was sick or something was wrong or this horse had been being abused by this driver, whatever, why wasn't it until that particular day that anyone noticed? No, the vets that saw the horse didn't notice. The vets in his retirement didn't figure out what it was for a long time. None of the other general public that saw the horse at the park every day, no one else noticed. Even you, New York class and PETA and all of you, if it was so obvious, So, they just had no case to make there. And then they were trying to say, that the carriage was it was because the horse is pulling his heavy carriage. And then there's, these videos and pictures of the driver, himself pulling the carriage back to the stable himself that day after his horse went down. And it's well, how did he go all those blocks on his own as a human being if it was so hard for the horse? So that also kind of was their own evidence they wanted to use everything just worked out against them, because it was like just such a witch hunt of I don't know. I still can't believe it got to this point. And again, I'm going to say like too much. I've already said in other videos. But the right thing happened. You know, it was all, you know, laid out in court, and it should have ended there. But instead, they just started protesting even harder. And it's like, okay, so if he was found guilty, would you have said, oh, well, I guess the system works, then we don't have to ban carriage horses? No, absolutely not. No matter what the verdict was, they were going to come out and try to spin it. I mean, you know, it's like, okay, you know, you had no evidence to say this was abuse. This abuse did not happen. Why are you still calling him an animal abuser? Why are you still saying we're animal abusers? There was no abuse. You were wrong. That's it. Not guilty. Done. Oh, that's an annoying one. I'll probably forget like something that I was going to say about that. Let's, I guess, move on to the next topic here.